Hey guys, it's Dan. This is my ragdoll simulation for our UFO assessment. Uh, Here's one I prepared earlier, like all good chefs. When we finish, this is what we'll hope to get. Nicely floating off into the abyss. There he goes. All good, and everyone's happy. So to get that, if we start again, if Maya hasn't locked up. Yes, Maya has locked up. But through the power of technology and editing, Maya's back up and running. And what we want to do is we're going to open our where is it? Woodman. Don't save. So here he is, our Woodman. What we want to do to start with, let's go to the front view. Create a. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to set up our playback speed. Go to settings, change that to 25. Go back to time slider, make sure that's 25 and play reframe. Good, save that. Now what we want to do is create a locator. Move it up. 4, probably scale it up so we can see it a bit easier. And we want to snap it to the neck joint, thusly. Now we want to duplicate that, Control D, and snap it to all the joints. So when we come out, we have locators on all of our joints. Fantastic. Now what we want to do is grab all of the joints, hide them, you idiot. Control H. Now what we're going to use is a, what's it called? A hinge joint. So what we want to do is go in here, click the hand first, and then the forearm, and go up to soft rigid body, create hinge constraint. If we hit 4, we can see where the hinge constraint is. Click on that and then snap it to the locator. And we can see that it hasn't snapped. Snap it to the locator. Okay, you also see these two crosses here and here. That is the center point of the geometry, which obviously would move if you changed it. Now with the wrist, actually we'll just do that first. So click the forearm and then the upper arm, and then again hinge constraint. Now the reason, as you saw before, the reason we put these locators in was so we had somewhere to snap the constraints to. So just hit click on it, hold V and snap it to the locator. V snap, V snap, V snap. The reason for this is, as you may have guessed, where this line is the center of the hinge, and the direction that's pointing is the plane in which it'll rotate. Yes. Now what we can do is, for the wrist example, take the wrist for example, hit E and we can rotate it 90 degrees. Fix that up so that the wrist will rotate back and forwards this way. So we can do that for the rest of them as well. So, through the power of editing once again, we finished doing that, and you can see that all of the hinges are aligned with the joints. So, what we want to do next is just delete those locators because we don't need them anymore. Done. Now we can add in a ground plane, polyplane, and just scale that up so it's huge. I hit 5, so we know where we are. Now we want to add in, we want to select all of the geometry. Can we? Yes. Deselect. Actually, what might be easier is you just select it all separately. In the ground plane, go to soft rigid body, create passive rigid body rather, and then we want to select all the mannequin geometry again. Oops. And go to fields and gravity. Now, to make sure everything's working properly, I'll fix up the timeline. Make sure that's on 1. Back and hit play. And obviously make our timeline a bit longer, say 500. Hit play, and everything should fall very awkwardly. God, that looks uncomfortable. Which it does, so that's good. So let's go to our gravity field and just make that a bit more, say 980, because it's huge. And he sort of falls like an emu. Very graceful. Good. So now what we want to do is let's hide all of our constraints. Let's unhide the rest of our joints. Shift H. Now what you'll notice is that as the mannequin falls, the joints don't follow. So what we have to do is, for the torso, we want to add these ones. We just want to middle mouse click and drag them into the torso. We want to drag the elbows into the upper arm and the wrists into the forearm. Elbow, upper arm, wrist, forearm, and then the knee into the upper leg. Knee, upper leg, and ankle into lower leg. And also the hips into the waist, thusly. Now, if I've done everything right, as it falls, everything will follow. Yay! Good. So, so to make him float, or to make him look like he's being dragged up into a UFO, what we want to do is grab these parts, like this, go to fields, gravity, and then make that gravity field about, make it about 980. I think that'll work. If it doesn't, we'll fix it. And then select the forearm, or a leg, or a head, or whatever. Forearm, I think, is mentioned in the brief. So, and then create another gravity field. This time, make the direction +1 in the y-axis, and make that about, no, make that one 980. Go back to the other one and make that 50. Okay, so in theory, all the first body parts we selected are going to be dragged down with a magnitude of 50, and then the forearm is going to be dragged upwards with a magnitude of 80. And there we go. Happy days. That doesn't look very comfortable, does it? Might be something wrong with one of those joints. Let's have another look at that. Actually, what I might do, select the shoulders, the shoulder hinge joints, or don't, that's fine, thank you, and make those pins. Can I do that from here? No, I can't. I have to go in here. Pin. So that means that it doesn't have an axis to rotate on. It'll be like a ball joint, like the shoulder is. Magic. And if we hit play, there we go. Much better. And then he floats off into the abyss. That's it. Thanks, guys.